Hello, you're watching Slingshot the podcast, the misunderstood voice, the culture's power. And today's episode is entitled, What's Going On? And if I had it like Marvin Gaye, I might sing the tune. But we're really excited that you're with us today. We have an impactful episode, and I hope we're going to all learn something. All right. Well, welcome to Slingshot the podcast. Today's episode titled, What's Going On? We've got a lot to talk about, and I'm happy to be joined by my partner in this work, Charles Gregory.
Hey.
Thanks for being with us today.
Absolutely.
Always appreciate you.
It's always a pleasure to be here. Talk to the good old folk.
All right. I'm looking at the glasses today because it's always a conversation folks have about our podcast is what glasses are you going to be wearing today?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Black Calm. This Tom Ford. I like Tom Ford. I like his glasses. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Now I have to pay attention to my glasses.
You do.
Okay.
You have to change them up every episode now, too.
I see. Now it's another budget.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yikes.
For a low budget episode.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Hold on.
it may be low budget in terms of this, but let's talk about what's going on.
Yeah.
The lyrics of What's Going On, Marvin Gaye's
What's
hit,
going on?
right? The lyrics of Motown,
What's
the lyrics of
going
Marvin
on?
Gaye. You can't sing too much or we're going to have to pay somebody for that now.
I know, right? I'm just saying, what's going on? That's all I'm doing. Yeah.
The prophetic Marvin Gaye. This song was coined back in 1971, the time in which America was embroiled in the Vietnam War. And he's asking the country in this song, what's going on here? And Marvin Gaye, so, shout out to him. He was actually murdered shy of his 45th birthday, just one day shy of his 45th birthday. Right. I'll never forget where I was when I learned that Marvin Gaye had passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was still young. I was coming home from the grocery store with my mom. We just pulled up to the house, and I heard that he had been killed.
That's right. Yeah.
And I'll never forget that, where I was when I heard about Michael Jackson, where I was when I heard about Prince.
Yeah.
Well, Marvin Gaye, he was the Prince of Motown.
That's right.
He was the Prince of
the
Motown.
Golden Boy.
He was, born at Howard University Hospital in D.C.
Yeah.
So some of the lyrics in this song are so prophetic for our episode today. And I'm going to start off with all the conflicts that are going on in the world today and here in the United States. And the lyric is, too many crying and too many dying. And that brings me to this topic today, Charles Gregory. Are we headed towards a civil war in America?
That's loaded.
It's a loaded question.
Yeah, I would hope not. I mean, cause let's be honest, right? We have the country, it seems really divided lately. There's more acceptance I have been seeing amongst, especially our younger generation, because they're growing up in a time where it wasn't so much of a conflict, right? And so most, now, unless you possibly Dr. Umar Johnson, most of us have some white friends.
Yeah.
We got some friends on the other side. And so I don't foresee a civil war per se than more towns that might be, one of those sundown towns, right? And so that's the difference, right? Because I think the country we're a little bit more open, but I do believe there's some areas that's would like to rebel a little bit.
Yeah. Some may argue that we actually are headed towards a civil war in this country, and that we're actually preparing for it, and preparing for it in legislation. Recently, there has been a proposal by Attorney General Pam Bondi to restore the Second Amendment rights of those formerly convicted of crimes, and some of those violent crimes. Bringing back the gun rights is a priority for this administration, and it's a campaign promise. And so I asked the question, should everybody be able to have their Second Amendment rights restored upon release? We are a very over-incarcerated country. We lock people up for a lot of different reasons. And there's a lot of people who right now do not have the right to own firearms due to former incarceration, particularly for felony offenses. Although in 2011, Mel Gibson, he had committed a misdemeanor crime, domestic violence. He has recently, under the second Trump administration, had his Second Amendment rights restored. So what do you think about that? Folks that have been convicted of violent crimes, crimes using handguns, or crimes of domestic violence, should they be able to have their rights restored?
I think, see, this is a hard one, right? Because if we are truly saying that, especially when it comes to our returning citizens, that once they return, they should have the rights and respect that that any citizen had, right? And so, yeah, I mean, if some people are being, incarcerated unfairly, and that may have a firearm on them, and they just happen to be walking a certain place and targeted, stopped and frisked, right? And you just you just fit this image, you fit the person. You know what? We need to pin this on somebody, so you're going to jail, right? If they return, then I will ask you the question: if they were someone who legally had the right to own a firearm, should they now have the right to now own a firearm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go back and forth with this, right? Because I think about those who were convicted of violent crimes, particularly domestic violence. And if they're able to have their gun rights restored, are they going to go back after the victim? And to your point, Charles Gregory, once you are a returning citizen, should you have all of your rights restored? Should all of your constitutional rights be restored upon release? So I guess that's the big question. And, gun control advocates, voting rights, gun rights advocates, they all go back and forth about this. I lead a voting rights organization, that's right. I'm 100% behind the formerly incarcerated having their voting rights back.
That's right.
So
why one and not the other?
One and not the other. I know.
I mean, and that's the thing, it becomes this conversation, this discourse to have. I mean, do you fully appreciate and advocate for citizens returning and having their rights restored? Yeah. That's the question. Do you fully agree with that?
Yeah.
I do. I fully agree with. I'm for having a legal firearm. I have always been for that. I mean, that's kind of a contradiction to some of our blue folks that we're affiliated with. They don't believe in that. I do. And I think that's where the polarities are happening now within the party. I don't believe that the blue is traditionally who they used to be. I think that they're.
Who's the blue when you say the blue?
I say Democrats. I'm just saying the blue party, right? Okay. I try to stay as political as I can, but when we think of our Democratic brethren, typically they are not for gun rights, right? They advocate against having owning firearms, and I see it, I understand it. But if you have a right, if we advocate for freedom of speech and to be able to say what we need to say, that's one of our amendments, our fundamental amendment right, then I mean we have other rights.
I mean, I'm gonna have to push back a little bit.
I got you,
as
you should,
and say that liberals, Democrats, progressives, whatever you want to call them, I'm not gonna say that they're against gun rights. I think they're for gun control, particularly the gun control laws we already have on the books. I have a lot of folks who lean blue in my life, and they're firearm owners for sure. I
am. I got a license for. I got a license to carry, right? I guess just not to say against per se, but you have a lot of pushback against the right to carry a firearm. I mean it's one of those things to have a true conversation about, to say that there are already laws in place for gun control,
right?
So if there are already laws in place, all you have to do is enforce them. So what's the problem?
Well, some would also say that we're currently in a time in which we are lacking decorum. That within our elected officials, the arguments they're getting into, even on the House floor, the Senate floor. We think about an argument that just happened here recently with Senator Cory Booker out of New Jersey getting into it at a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing with Senator Chuck Grassley.
I heard about that. I missed it, but I heard of it.
I mean, they're trying to push through a really problematic judicial nominee quickly. And they went back and forth and said, you won't even hear me out. Cory Booker said, you won't even hear me out. Where's the decorum? We used to be able to have what is the word?
General
or gentlemanly conversations.
Gentlemanly, yeah.
Yeah, and today we can't even do that. You don't even want to hear me out.
Yeah, gentleman's rule, absolutely.
Yeah. So we're losing decorum. And some would say the only way to get out of these thoughts and feelings, if we're going into civil war in this country or something close to it, is love is the answer. Yeah. Right? I
hear you, man. Sometimes we hypocrites, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll say that, but then we'll jump out and because you can't. I love Jasmine. I love her. I'm in love with her. But you can't say, we don't practice decorum, but then you have her in assembly calling somebody big back, whatever. That's not general. That's not decorum, right? I mean, I get it. It was funny. I still say it.
But is she modeling the behavior that she sees at the top?
True. Right. No, but that's the thing. Like, I get that too, right? She modeling that. But when do you say, well, I'm not going to act like you?
Right.
Cory Booker didn't do that, right? So and are both Democrats, right?
Yeah.
So when do we say, when it's kind of like sometimes we act like these hypocrites, we say one thing but then do another. If somebody else do it, then we're mad, but if we do it, we justify for it, right? But one of those things, man.
Well, Michelle Obama said when they go low, we go high. So do we continue to go high?
How about that, right? You want turn phase? Martin Luther King said that too, right? That's rough, man. That's rough, because you get tired of getting smacked in the face, right?
Yeah.
And the young people are saying, it's a hashtag, I'm not our ancestors, right? Yeah. And that's in reference to turning face, and not acting out. They're like, nah, you smack me, I'm smacking you back.
Yeah.
So yes.
Well, I always push back on that hashtag because we are our ancestors. We're our ancestors' wildest dreams.
That's right.
And there were many of them that absolutely pushed back on those plantations.
Yeah, yes, they did.
All right. Well, we're going to get back to this after a quick break. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
That's right.
You're watching Slingshot the podcast. This is more than just a podcast. This is a movement to inspire and motivate and mobilize. This is for those whose voices have been unheard, misunderstood, undervalued, and underserved. We're going to talk about sports, culture, entertainment, and we're going to use this to build power in our communities. All right, welcome back. We are still on Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. And another very popular lyric from the song was picket lines and picket signs. And here we are. This is 1971 lyrics. Here we are, 2025. And yes, there are picket lines and picket signs. What's going on? So we're just coming off of John Lewis Day as we're recording this podcast today.
That's right.
Most recently was John Lewis Day. It's the 5th anniversary of his passing, him leaving this earth at the age of 80 years old, joining the ancestors, John Lewis. And there's been so many protests in the streets. And on John Lewis Day, there were lots of protests across the country, and especially in Pennsylvania. I actually got to join one in Philadelphia and a rally outside of City Hall, and folks advocating for our Medicaid rights, or those who need Medicaid, those who need SNAP, and their protections, because there are lots of folks who are about to lose their protections in this moment.
That's so bad.
So they call it the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, otherwise known as H.R. 1. I prefer to call it H.R. 1. 887 pages of a lot of BS. Some people might call it the big bigoted bill or the big bullshit bill.
Right? I never heard that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
You don't have a name for it?
Nah.
Well, it is a big one. 887 pages of BS.
Jeez.
So this is reverse Robin Hood, right? This is robbing from the poor to give to the wealthiest Americans.
Yeah. Wow.
And I'm going to give some numbers, right? Let me read off some numbers because I'm not exaggerating here, right? Independent researchers have looked into this. It is going to make sure that the wealthiest stay protected in this country. This big, beautiful bill, as they will call it, is absolutely going to put a $12,000 increase into the wallets of this country's wealthiest people. $12,000 means nothing when you're a multimillionaire, billionaire. You won't even see it. You won't feel it.
It means a lot for us.
$12,000 would mean a lot for any of us in here today, in this studio. But the poorest among us are actually going to see a cut of $600 a year. We're cutting $1,600 a year from the poorest to give $12,000 to the wealthiest.
Wow.
It's amazing.
I don't get it.
So let me tell you how this is going to also add $350 billion with a B dollars to Trump's border and national security agenda. So funding ICE.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Funding others. This is going to impact 17 million people and their health care. Those are going to get dropped off of the ACA, otherwise known as Obamacare. Those are going to get dropped off of Medicaid. You know, it's estimated some 11.8 million, 11.8 million Americans could lose their medical insurance, those who need it the most. Those who are not even working because they can't because they have disabilities and other issues. And SNAP for the kids, right? Supplemental money for food for our children.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, I know you live in Philadelphia. I'm outside of Philadelphia. And so we talk about picket lines, picket signs.
That's right.
It was the union in Philly that said we are not going to pick up any more trash.
That's right. I was for the union.
Yeah.
I was for the people. I'm for the people. I don't want to hear anything else but for the people. And I heard a lot of pushback as it relates to how dare they, and it's like, do you know how much a clerk make in Philadelphia?
Right.
That's crazy. Yet we are advocating for $15 hour minimum wage.
Yeah.
We're advocating for that.
Yeah. And that's not a living wage.
It's not.
Yeah.
But we're advocating for something that we're saying that we shouldn't give to a basic clerk. Right? And the clerks were part of what DC 33, they're part of the whole union situation, right? And so they focused a lot on the sanitation workers, to which don't get a lot of money either. No. Right? They deserve a better wage. They deserve a living wage.
Yeah. You know, trash collectors in Philadelphia, they're bottom rung in terms of salary compared to other trash collectors throughout the country.
That's right.
And it makes sense because Philadelphia, you know, any worker outside of the government in Philadelphia is still stuck at the $7.25 minimum wage.
That's right. And the funny thing is, a lot of the argument was not necessarily mine, but a lot of the argument was for people who were supporting the union was that you mentioned government. Well, the Philadelphia government gave themselves a raise, to which they are now pretty much the highest kind of paid government. When we talk about the mayor's office, the mayor's cabinet, one of the highest paid in the nation. But when we talk about the sanitation workers, we are the lowest in pay. Yeah. So not necessarily I'm not a sanitation worker, but I consider myself part of the people. And so the advocacy work needs to continue to happen, and I would like to see some fairness as it relates to wages and the things that they deserve. And so, yeah.
Everyone deserves a living wage.
That's right.
It's apropos that, you know, the struggles come here in Philadelphia, in particular around trash and sanitation. That's the last campaign of Dr. King before his assassination.
That's right. That's one of the reasons. Arguably, that's one of the reasons why he was.
Right. Because he was fighting for quality life.
That's right.
And money for all workers, not just black sanitation workers, but all the sanitation workers.
That's right.
Yeah. So we have a long way to go
here. Yeah. Which is, going to the point, the importance of voting. Yeah. The importance of voting. This is your lane, but that's the importance of voting. You know, a lot of people say, well, how dare you, voting doesn't matter. Well, I mean, kind of, it does.
It does.
Yeah.
Voting matters.
Yes.
It absolutely matters. All right. Well, we, picket lines and picket signs. Yeah. It's not at the end. If anything, we're picking it back up.
That's right.
It's as if we are the 1960s all over again. So between the big, beautiful bill, otherwise known as the big bullshit bill, and other things that are going to impact low-income people in this country, this could be the spark of the Civil War, because when you're hungry and you're unhoused, you got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
We got nothing to lose. All right, we'll be right back. Don't go away. You're watching Slingshot the podcast, the misunderstood voice, the culture's power, at New Millennium Multimedia Studios. All right, welcome back. We're still on our Marvin Gaye kick. And now this next episode is entitled, Don't Punish Me with Brutality. Boy, those words are prophetic. Marvin Gaye, he really put it down in 1971. And it's all still relative today. So when you hear Don't Punish Me with Brutality, and you think about today's current climate, Charles Gregory, what do you think about?
You already know what I think about.
Yeah.
Say her name. Sandra Bland.
Sandra Bland.
I think of stuff like this. And so, I don't know. Don't punish me with brutality. The Joy Floyds, right? Get your foot off my neck. I think of stuff like that. I think of the young man, I forgot his name, just went viral. The officers broke his window in, and then he had the camera rolling, and it showed the officer actually punch him in his face. That was wow. Right. It's like, we're still doing this. And it's bitter. It's bittersweet when it comes to police, right? Because I have family that's police, and I know how great they are, and I know some policemen, I know some detectives, I know people in Philadelphia who are amazing police. I actually have a video where the cops didn't know that they were being recorded. They actually took their hats off, went into Tustin's and started playing basketball with the kids. So I took a little video of that because I wanted people to see, like, yo, you have people in the community actually caring, and they're cops. So you can't put a blanket statement on cops are just all bad and they don't care. And they actually try to do what they need to do to protect and serve the community. There's only a few bad apples here. And I'm thankful that they always get recorded, though. Yeah, sure.
It is the few bad apples that spoil the bunch.
Yeah.
So cruelty is the point.
That's right.
Don't punish me with brutality, and it's also cruelty being the point. And when I think about cruelty, I think about alligator Alcatraz. I recently went to Poland, Warsaw, Poland, coming back in. And the folks over there in Poland, it was a World Justice Forum, people from all over the globe at this forum.
Right.
Number one question they had for me, whenever I sat at a breakout table with them in a breakout room, what are y'all doing in the United States of America? What are you all doing? What is happening? Because for them, they see us as this myth. There's some myth behind the United States that we are here to protect people's rights. And this is, birthplace of democracy for us. And, we shouldn't be housing people in something that's so unsafe for humans to live in. So they asked the question, what are y'all doing? And how long is it going to take you to snap out of this? I didn't have an answer because I'm not sure what the breaking point is.
I'm at a loss of words because,
And all of this, the deportations that are happening, all without due process, it's all an issue.
Yeah, it is.
Due process is a fundamental legal principle upheld by our 14th Amendment rights. Right? And it says that no person can be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process. It doesn't say citizen in the United States. It says person.
I was going to say something, and I'll let you finish your point. And I'll talk about an experience I had with someone who I know that's Haitian American, that's a citizen. Go ahead, you finish your point.
So due process has been taken out of the equation in this moment. We have folks that are being kidnapped off of the streets, not receiving their due process, being thrown into ICE vehicles, taken to facilities either in this country or outside of this country. And some of these have been American citizens. American citizens who get rounded up because their complexion is a little darker than probably the person kidnapping them. And recently hearing that there may be utilization of some folks to be ICE agents that should never have access to weapons that the government provides. Wow. I'm talking about the Proud Boys. The Proud Boys. So tell us your story.
So two people. One is Haitian gentleman that I know came over here, became a citizen, And he was very, very stern with supporting the efforts of ICE. He felt that it took him a long time to become a citizen. He went through hoops, he had to spend money and sometimes spent too much money because some people are running scams for people who want to become citizens. So they say, hey, you just pay here, I can fast track you. And he lost a couple $1,000s or something like that. I don't know the process that it takes to become a citizen, but he expressed that he was scammed a few times. And it took him almost, I want to say like 10, 15 years to become a citizen.
Yeah.
And so he felt that it was a slap in the face for him and people like him and his family who had to go through all of that to become a citizen, that someone can just pretty much, quote unquote, air quote, get off the boat and reap the benefits of being an American citizen, and you're really not an American citizen. And so he just felt anything that happened to them is that's kind of like what they get. And of course, I'm always for the people, right? I'm always an advocate. So for me, I'm just like, no, that's not, it's just not right, this, that, and the other. Like, if you're here, you're here. I mean, if the country was, built on immigrants pretty much, right? And so, what do you do? How can you pretty much feel that way when, it was just like, I don't care, the blood, sweat, and tears that it took for us to become citizens, and now you have people just come and taking our rights, and then we look crazy as if we need to be deported, so to speak, and we did the due diligence to get our citizenship. So that it made me think twice. That was the first time it really put me at pause to think and say, you know what, you got a point.
Yeah. Well, Kilmore Abrego Garcia is home. He was returned to the United States. If you've been watching Slingshot, the podcast, we spoke extensively about him being taken from this country, sent to a country that wasn't even his own. He has been returned. It is the federal courts that have recently ruled that he should not be handed over to the Trump administration.
That's right.
He should not be turned over to him where he's currently in Tennessee. He's facing charges in Tennessee for allegedly transporting undocumented immigrants or migrants, and he has pleaded not guilty. But it was a federal judge, nominated and confirmed under the Trump administration, that said, you will not take custody of Kilmore Abrego Garcia. We don't trust y'all now.
That's right.
To take that man.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, well, we're coming towards the end here.
Okay.
And there's one other thing that I want to talk about when we talk about Don't Punish Me.
Okay.
With brutality.
That's right, Marvin Gaye.
And that's that black travel ban that's happening right now. Yeah. So I just said, I was recently in Warsaw, Poland. My biggest fear was that they were not going to allow me back into the country. But I got back in, and when I got back in, Customs said, welcome home. And, I didn't talk mess or anything. I said, thank you very much, and kept on moving because I wanted to make sure I got back here. But there is a travel ban right now on majority black countries across the globe. And I'll list them out a few of them out for you. Chad, Congo, Eritrea, Haiti, Somalia, Sudan, right? And then some Middle Eastern countries as well, Afghanistan, Syria, and others, right? So this is a travel ban mostly on black and brown folks in this moment under the Trump administration. So we're punishing folks to come into this country, right? And they want to come here on vacation. People come here to the United States on vacation.
That's right.
They come here to visit family that live here. And we are blocking people from having access to this country, access to their friends and family. Right. And we're going to lose a lot of money. So people care about the money. We're going to lose this money, and people who are not going to be traveling to this country and spending their money in local communities.
That's right.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I don't know if I'd want to come here right now if I didn't have to.
Yeah, I wouldn't be coming right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Trump isn't necessarily my favorite person, but if I wasn't from this country, I would be scared of him.
Yeah.
I would be scared of what would happen if I came here.
Well, cruelty is the point.
That's that part.
So I think they actually enjoy that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a fun fact for you.
Fun fact. I'll take it.
All right, cool. So we was talking about Marvin Gaye because I want to end with,
just make.
Yeah, that's right. His birthday?
April.
April what?
2nd or 3rd?
April 2nd.
Okay.
Yeah. What'd that say?
He consultant. What?
Oh,
you? That's your birthday?
April 2nd.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, April 2nd. So, we share a birthday. Fun fact.
Oh, that's right.
That's
well,
right.
Hey,
Yeah.
good people born in April.
That's right. Good people born in April. April 2nd. Aries. True Aries.
True Aries.
So, Marvin Gaye, I can't remember where I was when I heard that he passed, but I know everyone was saying, yo, he had your same birthday. That's how I found out. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean, I called him prophetic, right? Because the things he was talking about in 1971 are relevant today. 2025,
that's right.
Same issues.
That's right.
Different decade.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to close out and say that love is the answer. If that's the answer, see if you can spread a little love and joy out there in your communities today. Somebody needs an extra hug. Somebody needs an extra conversation. So if you got the time, make the time. Talk to the friends and family in your life. Make sure everybody's doing okay. It's tough out there. All right. So I'm glad you're with us. Have a good one, and we'll see you back. Thank you for joining Slingshot, the podcast. I'm Kadida Kenner, and you're watching Slingshot, the podcast. The misunderstood voice, the culture's power.